Hi, it's Pastor Dick again for our intertestamental period. We are on the third lesson in the series, and today's lesson is probably very, very deep and very difficult to follow, but I think it's an important principle and an important pattern that God has set concerning the coming of Christ. We've seen that the intertestamental period, that 400 years between Matthew and Malachi, was a time in which God was preparing the world for the coming of Christ. Now, what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to cover a number of facets that involve the 70 weeks of Daniel, the prophecy concerning the end times. And we're going to look at this carefully, and you'll need to put your thinking caps on so that you can understand it as well as possible. Now, I have studied this for many years, and I remember when I was preparing for ordination, we had a book that was that thick, and it was called Things to Come by Dwight L. Pentecost. And as I studied that book, I determined that I was going to learn everything in it. And when I came to the 70 weeks of Daniel, it took me several weeks of looking at this and wondering about it and thinking, is this really understandable? Can I really grasp it? And after a couple of weeks, I finally grasped it. I know you're not going to spend a couple of weeks on this. So we're going to spend one day, probably 1 hour on it. But we do have a lecture for you that's in your packet on the website. The website is www.ministrytoday.org. And if you go there, and I hope you do because that's where you get the videos, you will also see the syllabus or the lectures in print. And I think that's very important for all of us to have that because I can't cover everything here. Now, you missed our Bible study on Thursday, and boy, there were some glassy eyes, but there were some good discussions afterwards, and I think that was very enjoyable. So hopefully we can make this enjoyable for you and help you to see that it's important to understand Scriptures as God has revealed it to us. May the Lord bless you as you study with us in this third lesson. I call the third lesson the 70 Weeks of Daniel.